to matters financial and geopolitical from a frontier. Thank you for stopping by. I trust the weekend went well. Let me start, and you'll get the answer to why I've started with this. This was Drummers with Groove is how I characterized it. It was taken at the Fairmont, Mount Kenya Safari Club, and we've learned it's been sold, but these guys were fantastic. And it came to mind because I've been reading V.S. Naipaul's The Crocodiles of Yamoussoukro. And in that book, Naipaul meets an expatriate from somewhere in the West Indies who's created a subject at the university called drumology, and basically saying that there were deep signifiers and linguistic clues in the African drumming. That made me think of that photograph I took all that time ago. Macro thoughts. Obviously the Fed is to dominate this week of central bank meetings. Futures are only pricing a 24% chance of a hike now. Fisher, and I agree with this comment, says, why wait? Wisdom points to Fed liftoff this week. Caution in the speech just 3 months before taking over as the Fed's number 2 in June 2014 that waiting carries its own difficulties. In his view, the situation is always unclear and monetary policy takes time to affect the economy. Don't overestimate the benefits of waiting for the situation to clarify, he said. There is always uncertainty and we just have to recognize it. And then on August 28th, asked if the Fed should delay an increase until it had an unimpeachable case that a move was warranted, Fisher replied, if you wait that long, you'll be waiting too long. Home thoughts. I'm halfway through The Feast of the Goat. This is Mario Vargas Llosa, The Feast of the Goat. And it concentrates on the last day of the life of Rafael Leonidas Trujillo, the long-term dictator of the Dominican Republic, and on the aftermath of his assassination on the 30th of May, 1961. It really is a powerful book. I'm enjoying it thoroughly. Let me put up a photograph of Mario Vargas Llosa and Isabel Preisler. And just give you one quote, which is not from the book I'm reading. Because of literature, we can decipher, at least partially, the hieroglyphic that existence tends to be for the great majority of human beings. Political reflections. I like the sentence, sipping coffee and partying on the roof as mortar attacks and power cuts hit the city. That's normal life in Damascus. We've got the war, we've had the snow and the dust, so all we need now is a volcano, quipped Nizar, a school teacher. The Independent tweeted these photographs of the sandstorm covering Beirut and Damascus with a blanket of yellow dust. Let me put that up. President Obama said on Friday, referencing the Russians, the strategy they're pursuing now, doubling down on Assad, I think is a big mistake, he said. And then Bloomberg View is saying recognizing Syria's de facto partition would also enable outside powers to secure their core interests. It would make feasible a version of Russia's proposal to refocus the war on Islamic State, without that becoming code for an Assad victory. It would enable Iranian and Hezbollah troops to withdraw, satisfying Saudi Arabia. It would render more coherent to a US policy that seeks to destroy Islamic State with the help of Sunni rebels, the rebels whose first concern has been to fight Assad. So clearly some movement, but I think the defining movement has been the way that Putin has backed up his words with hard power in Syria. I don't see him throwing Assad over a bus, as Bloomberg is in part speculating. Sir Arnold Robinson, one of the world's largest volcanoes, erupts, shooting ash more than 3,000 feet into the air. This is Mount Hasso. Currency markets, the euro 113.45, dollar index 95.18, Japanese yen 120.20, Swissy, when I looked at it, 0.9680, pound 154.68, Aussie has been making a recovery of late, now over 71.04, Indian rupee 66.465, South Korean won 11.8290, Real 387.21, Egyptian pound 782.06, and the South African rand 1355.97. Dollar index, I'll put up a 3-month chart, and the foreign exchange markets, as is the dollar, is all about Yellen this week. Seeing what the Fed will do. Jonathan Ferro tweeted euro dollar on 7-day winning streak, longest since December 2013. Obviously, everything depends on whether the US hikes or not. Gold, last trading at 1107.72, up a 3-month chart. I don't see it running away to the upside, and 1150 is the key resistance level. Crude oil, $45. I'll put up a 3-month chart. We seem to sort of stabilize a little bit for now. The United Nations compiles an index of 73 food prices. This index has fallen for 10 consecutive months, and figures released Thursday show the measure dropped by 5.2% last month. Food prices have now declined 35% from their peak in February 2011. And that took me to food, and my mother's favourite dish was a fish dish from Nobu. I'll put up a photograph of it, and then I'll put up a photograph of Nobu in Mayfair. You can see the view. We actually, I think, sat at that very table. Algeria's Bouteflika replaces the head of the DRS military intelligence. Sources in state media, long-standing head of country's military intelligence agency, latest move to curb the spy chief's influence in politics. Mohammed Medien, chief of the DRS intelligence service, had long played the role of political kingmaker, analysts said, by seeking to influence leadership choices in Algeria's behind-the-scenes power struggles. Plenty seems to be going on below and above the surface in Algeria of late. Then he put up a photograph of Bouteflika meeting Francois Hollande. South African all share fell 1.21% on Friday. It's down 1.68%. They're a terrible nuisance, and I'll keep that. But let's just talk through it. Dollar rand, let me put up a 3-month chart. I mean, we recovered from those levels above 14. We're at 13.55. I still think we've got another round of weakness in front of us. Egyptian security forces accidentally shoot dead 12 some were Mexican tourists and guides. The incident resulted in the death of 12 Mexicans and Egyptians, and the injury of 10 others who've been transferred to hospitals. Let me put up a photograph of the Guardian published Black Desert in the Al-Wahad al-Bahariya region of Egypt, where the attack on the tourist convoy is believed to have happened. Enrique Pena Nieto tweeted in Spanish that Egypt has promised a full investigation. Egyptian EGX30 down 20.658% year to date. On the Wall Street Journal blog, Frontiers blog, they're saying analysts at BMI described the move to eject Nigeria from the JP Morgan Index as an indictment of the Nigerian central bank's unorthodox policies, which included a ban on taking foreign currency cash deposits and capital controls on foreign exchange. JP Morgan revealed last week that it would be excluding Africa's largest economy from its emerging market local bond index. I continue to see there's going to be a devaluation, that's for sure, and I don't know for how long they can keep this up. Nigerian all shares down 14.33% year to date. Ghana Stock Exchange Composite Index down 7.65% year to date. Let's come to Kenya, The IMF sees low inflows sustaining pressure on the Kenya shilling. Shilling has fallen 14% against the dollar this year. The new reality is that you have inflows that are going to be more conservative. The good news is that they will be more permanent, but the level is probably going to be lower. But still, the level is as it is today, is pretty much in line with fundamentals. He said about the exchange rate. Kenya's central bank has drawn down reserves to stabilize the shilling, a move that has been prudent and effective, Morales said. The level of intervention has fallen from a few months ago, he said without elaborating. Kenya's central bank holds $6.39 billion in FX reserves as of September the 3rd, enough to cover 4 months of imports. That's down from $7.43 billion at the start of the year. The IMF have agreed to lend Kenya $688 million US in a standby facility in February. Central bank has increased its benchmark interest rate by a total of 300 basis points since June. Up to now, and I agree with him, there is no reason to believe that interest rates will be increased further. I agree with him on that point. He's saying, and I disagree with him, growth hasn't really suffered that much from what we can see. The economy's slowed down 5 quarters in a row. The economy is still dynamic. My piece over the weekend was about the visit to ARM in Tanga. I said ARM's Tanga clinker plant a geostrategic investment. When Pradeep Panrana asked if I cared to visit his clinker facility in Tanga, I of course said yes. I did not mention that the Satchis had lived in Tanga in the 1940s. I did not mention that last year I'd read M.G. Vasanji's The Magic of Cider, which is a seriously powerful book. That book is based in Dar es Salaam and in Kilwa, and there is an extraordinary dream sequence of storytelling where Kamal is seeking out his childhood sweetheart Cider and loses himself somewhere amongst the baobabs and the jinns and the hidden magical village life of Tanga. The past is a dangerous business, warned Akim Ali. It is best to keep it buried. Tanga is the most northerly seaport city of Tanzania, not that far away from Mombasa. I have a strong conviction that the Indian Ocean economy is set to enjoy a renaissance, and that the world's centre of gravity is tipping in its direction. Therefore, the first point to note about Tanga is that it is geostrategic. The proximity to the port gives ARM access to the sea and access to the entire East African coastline. Tanga was a German project for many years, and you see that Teutonic efficiency still in the way the city is laid out. There is a railway as well. Transport and logistics are one of the fiendish complexities of operating in Africa. ARM have a serious situational competitive advantage, in my opinion. ARM's facility in Tanga is a 1.2 million ton capacity per year clinker facility, which cost $140 million, including capitalized interest. At ARM, they calculate capacity on a 300-day basis, which is conservative, i.e. 4,000 tons per day times 300. Others play around with that number in order to post bigger capacities. Clinker is the majority component in cement and is derived from limestone. ARM's facility has limestone deposits equivalent to 400 years of supply. Now consider that clinker is priced in dollars and the majority of it imported into the region. Given the price trend in our currencies, the importation of clinker has become seriously expensive. ARM has found a sweet spot in what we can characterize as clinker arbitrage. ARM's clinker is produced in local currency, sold in dollars, and accessible to the Indian Ocean markets. The entire investment is a perfect natural hedge against currency weakness. The cement demand curve continues to accelerate and is riding the coattails of increasing urbanization and the infrastructure rollout. If China starts to back up its words around the Bagamoyo port with serious action, this part of the world will become a serious hotspot of demand for cemented clinker. As I sat at the Makonge Hotel sipping my tea overlooking the sea where a single dhow was gently traversing my line of sight, I could not help feeling that Pradeep, whilst placing an outsized bet, $140 million is not small potatoes, had placed it with skill and shrewdly. ARM is trading at a price of 50 shillings a share. Market capitalization is $231 million. The share price had gotten caught up in the general malaise of the stock market. The sell-off presents investors with an outstanding opportunity. Consider taking it with both hands. Let me put up a photograph of the Tanga clinker plant that I took from right up on top, and another one of Tanga seen from the air. You can see the port. It's small, but you can access it easily. Another link to ARM's share price data. Kenya shilling, I said last week that I was sticking my neck out. You might have put in a bottom. Let's see. Nairobi all share is up 6.5% since the 27th of August. Nairobi NSE 20 is up 3.186% since the 27th of August. Big news today is that the Fairmont Mount Kenya Safari Club has been acquired for 1.8 billion shillings. Looks cheap to me. Mount Kenya Safari Club in Nanyuki was founded in 1959 and became a mecca for the international jet set. Property sits on the slopes of Mount Kenya. I've sat at the bar and half expected William Holden or Adnan Khashoggi to pop in. My most intense memory is of discovering a complete film studio on the grounds, walking around them on my own in the evening light. It's quite mysterious. Put up a photograph of Hannah horse riding at the Fairmont, and another photograph I took of the peaks of Mount Kenya, seen from the slopes of the Fairmont Mount Kenya Safari Club. And I noticed in my photograph a mysterious green light, as you will too. That took me back to Scott Fitzgerald. And as I sat there brooding on the old unknown world, I thought of Gatsby's wonder when he first picked out the green light at the end of Daisy's dock. He had come a long way to this blue lawn, and his dream must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it. He did not know that it was already behind him, somewhere back in that vast obscurity beyond the city, where the dark fields of the Republic rolled on under the night. Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms further, and one fine morning, so we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. Thank you.